Right. So this is the plan to ship training for Crane Barrel suppliers. Plan to ship as a new feature implemented for Crane Barrel solution on the InfoNexus platform. And plan to ship documents will be used for suppliers and factories to create transportation reservations with 3PL, buyer, and carriers. Okay. A user to create plan to ship in the system needs to be granted with the security rights, which is the plan to ship. So the administrator for each supplier organization should make sure the plan to ship right is granted to the associated system user. Okay. The plan to ship workflow can be summarized as below. So it starts from suppliers and the factories to create and submit the plan to ship request to the LSP. Here, LSP stands for Logistics Service Provider, and on the plan to ship workflow, it should be ACS, all cargo services. Oh, sorry, all port cargo services. Okay. So ACS will review the plan to ship request. Well, actually, a shipping order will be generated once the plan to ship is submitted by supplier. Okay, and the ACS will accept the plan to ship, or if there are no exceptions, and they're gonna arrange the shipment once the booking is confirmed. Okay. And on the current pack and ship workflow, uh, factory to create a plan to ship, print the carton labels, and do the shipment scanning and generate a packing list. So plan to ship as the vendor booking should be created after packing plan and the label print and before shipment scanning. We'll talk about the timing of submitting the plan to ship on the following slides. Before we move on to the document creation, well, let's just go through the highlights of the plan to ship. A plan to ship is created based on active packing plans. Okay, so when the plan to ship becomes active without any exceptions, InfoNexus will trigger a booking request to ACS, which will create a shipping order for ACS to review. Okay, ACS will accept the booking, then the plan to ship status will change to accepted. Or if ACS reject the shipping order, okay, then the plan to ship status will be updated to rejected. And the decline reason and the comments will also be provided on the plan to ship document. The plan to ship process is only applicable to ocean, truck, and air shipments. The early booking and the overbooking are restricted. Suppliers or factories are required to submit a plan to ship in the system at least 14 days before the requested handover date, which equals to 9 days before ship window start date. And the request handover date should be a date 5 days after the ship window starts and 5 days before ship window ends. Okay. And the request handover date can also be viewed on the PO at line level. A plan to ship can be created from one or multiple packing plans as long as these packing plans have the same shipment method. Ecoterm, ship from to, ship from and ship to location, and manufacturer, currency, company code, and a phase identifier. So this is a field on the PO. Okay, and this phase 2 is indicated as yes. Then we say this is a phase 2 order, and plan to ship will be required for phase 2 orders. So once the plan to ship feature is enabled after go live, and Cranberry will send in the purchase order amendment to get this indicator updated. Okay. The packing plan data, such as the carton weight, item quantity, and the volume, carton counts, will be populated onto the plan to ship. Okay. Well, if there are any buyer exceptions triggered, okay, the plan to ship will be sent to Cranberry to review and approve. When Cranberry approves the exceptions, plan to ship will be updated to active. So only when the plan to ship is in active status, Infonex will send a booking request to OSP, which is the ACS. Okay. For updating or canceling the plan to ship after submission, suppliers should contact ACS to decline the shipping order. Decline the shipping order will trigger a plan to ship response with the rejected status. Then plan to ship will change to rejected. Okay. So in the system, one plan to ship can contain multiple packing plans. And one plan to ship response can only link to one plan to ship request. And one plan to ship will only generate one shipping order. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the plan to ship process flow in details for you to better understand how it works on the flow. So you can see the parties involved on the flow, on the workflow: suppliers, LSP, Infonexes, and Cranberry. So suppliers to create the plan to ship in the Infonexes system. And if there are no exceptions triggered, plan to ship will become active once submitted by supplier. Okay. And if there are any exceptions that require Cranberry to review and approve, the plan to ship will be sent to Cranberry. Then they're going to review the exceptions. Or if they approve the exceptions, plan to ship will become active. Or if not, Cranberry will return the plan to ship to suppliers. So suppliers to get the plan to ship updated based on the requirements. Then resubmit. When the plan to ship is in active status, a booking request will be sent to LSP, which is ACS, from Infonexes. A shipping order will be generated. So ACS will review the shipping order, or if there are no shipping exceptions, they're going to approve the booking and trigger a booking response back to Infonexes to get the plan to ship accepted. Okay. Or if there are shipping exceptions, ACS will discuss with the Cranberry offline to resolve the exceptions. Right? So if the exceptions are approved, ACS will approve the booking, then trigger the booking response to get the plan to ship accepted. Okay. Or if changes are needed, ACS will reject the plan to ship back to supplier to update. So on the plan to ship workflow, suppliers are mainly dealing with creating and updating the plan to ship, and pay attention to the plan to ship document status. Right. So these are the possible plan to ship document statuses. So here we have new, buyer review pending, reviewed, active, accepted, rejected, reopened, and cancelled. Okay. The status can be viewed at the document header when you're on the plan to ship preview screen. Uh, when the plan to ship is inactive, accepted, or buyer review pending, suppliers are not able to make the change on the documents directly. So if changes are needed, suppliers need to contact ACS to decline the shipping order so that suppliers can update or cancel the plan to ship. Okay, so these are the plan to ship document statuses, which will help suppliers to understand the progress of the booking request. This slide provides you a detailed description of each status. New is the initial status once the plan to ship is created, but before submission. Right? So at this stage, the document is still pending on supplier side. Buyer review pending. Okay, when exceptions are triggered that require Crane Barrel to review and approve the exceptions. So when suppliers submit the plan to ship, the status will change to buyer review pending. Okay. Then Crane Barrel is going to review the exceptions. If they approve, the document will be in active status. Then the booking request will be triggered to ACS. Or if changes are needed, Crane Barrel will return the plan to ship to suppliers. Then the status of the document will change to reviewed. So reviewed means rejected. Okay. So once the ACS received the shipping order, which is the booking request, then they're going to review. If there are no shipping exceptions, they will just approve the shipping order, and the plan to ship will be updated to accepted. Or if they reject, then the plan to ship will change to rejected. Reopened. So when supplier reopened a submitted plan to ship, the document status will be reopened. Okay. But suppliers can only reopen the plan to ship when the LSP ACS declined the shipping order. Cancelled. The plan to ship has been cancelled. So before creating a plan to ship, suppliers should always check the related screen of the order to see if there are any existing plan to ship created, because duplicate bookings should not be submitted. So the plan to ship is displayed on the related screen of the order. Right. So the next is how to create a plan to ship document in the system. Okay. So to create a plan to ship, once suppliers log into the system, click Create from the navigation bar. Then select Plan to Ship by Packing Plan, because Plan to Ship should be created based on the packing plan. Okay. The system users should have the Plan to Ship security rights. Then you will have this option of creating the Plan to Ship. Use the filters on the left to search for your packing plan. You can use the packing plan reference number or PO number, then click on Apply. The search result will be displayed on the right side of the screen. Okay. Or if you'd like to filter multiple packing plans at one time, you can just change the formula of Plan to Ship reference filter. Okay. From the drop-down list, change the relation to equals 1/of. Then multiple value field can be added for suppliers to enter multiple packing plan reference numbers. Okay. So once the packing plans are filtered, and select the packing plan. The selected packing plans will be displayed on the right. You can click on Clear button to clear the selection of packing plan and go back to the left to research and reselect the packing plans for your Plan to Ship. Click on Next once the packing plans are selected. When the Plan to Ship is generated, user will come to the identification screen. Okay. And there are certain fields that need suppliers to manually update. Okay. The Plan to Ship reference number is auto-generated by system. And this number will also be used as the shipping order number. Okay. Then estimated cargo ready date is required. So select a date from this field. And the date you select must fall within the shipment window. Or if it's outside of shipment window, ACS will reject your Plan to Ship. The ship method, ship mode, is auto-populated, and it only should be ocean, truck, and air. If other types of ship mode is selected on this field, the validation errors will be triggered. Select the shipment load type, which should only be CY or CFS. If other type of shipment load type is selected, then the errors will be triggered after validating the document. Okay. Then move on to the equipment section if this is a CY booking, because the equipment will be required for CY. Click on Add to create an equipment. Then select the equipment type and enter the equipment count, the number of equipment required. Okay. Crane Barrel has a preferred equipment type list. So these are the equipment types preferred by Crane Barrel. 20 standard dry, 40 standard dry, 40 reefer, 40 high cube dry, 40 high cube reefer, and 45 high cube dry, 45 high cube river, 53 standard dry, LCL shipment, and air any type. So if the equipment type is selected not from the list, validation errors will be triggered. Click on a preview to go to the preview screen. Those data like the item quantity, carton count, weight, and volume will be populated from packing plan onto the plan to ship. Okay. So once you get onto the preview screen of plan to ship, click on validate to see if there are any validation errors triggered. Okay, you can click on the alert icon to view the validation errors or warnings details. If any validation errors are triggered after validation, you can click on edit to make change to the data field. Well, if there are no validation errors or the errors have been resolved, you can just click on submit. Okay. You can click on the ellipsis at the top right corner, then select View PDF from the menu to export a PDF version plan to ship. The document status can be viewed at the top left. Okay. Well, when the plan to ship is submitted, if you'd like to further update the document, you should contact ACS to decline the shipping order first. And when the plan to ship status becomes rejected, and suppliers are able to update the plan to ship. Or if you need to cancel the plan to ship once it's submitted, still contact the ACS to cancel the shipping order first. And when the plan to ship becomes rejected, you're able to cancel the plan to ship in the system. Okay, so this is how to create a plan to ship document and those required data fields on the document. Okay. Validation errors. So red validation errors are hard stops. They will stop the suppliers from from submitting the plan to ship in the system. So the following slides provide the details of errors and the warning messages. So you can refer the column on the left for the name of the issue and the data fields, and refer the column on the right for the error message details. Okay. For example, equipment type. So when there's an error message displayed on the plan to ship, shows you that invalid equipment type selected, and please select Cranberry preferred equipment type. This is because the selection for this field for the equipment type is not from the Cranberry's preferred list. Okay, so supplier needs to edit the plan to ship and update the equipment type to be the one of the Cranberry's preferred equipment type. Okay. And for CY booking, if the equipment is not added on the plan to ship, then after validating the document, you're going to see a message telling you, please add equipment for a CY booking. Then go back to the identification screen to add the equipment and select the equipment type and enter the equipment count. For the ship mode, because the valid ship mode should be ocean, truck, and air. So if other ship mode is selected, this error message will be displayed after validation. So go and correct the ship mode on the Plan 2 ship. Then this error message will be removed. Some other terms like for the order lines on the Plan 2 ship, on a single Plan 2 ship, should be the same. If they are different, error message will be triggered, such as Ecoterm, ship mode, destination, ship from, and currency, company codes, and a phase 2 indicator. So if these terms of the Plan 2 ship, the order lines on the Plan 2 ship are different, then errors will be triggered, because all the order lines should have the same terms on the same Plan 2 ship. Some messages are action related, such as reopen, reload packing plan, cancel. So when suppliers take actions on the Plan 2 ship, and these are the possible error messages that supplier probably will see. And shipment load type, this is a required field. Or if it's not selected, the error message will be displayed. So supplier needs to get this field updated. And if an invalid load type is selected, the message will be displayed, invalid load type selected. Then the order lines on the Plan 2 ship, if it's already booked on a booking, then errors will be triggered. Estimated cargo ready date. Or if the date you select is earlier than the ship window start date, there will be an error. The item quantity, if the item quantity on the booking is not aligned with Crane Barrel's requirement, you'll have this error message. And some data fields are managed by LSP, like vessel, voyage, departure location, arrival location, and final destination delivery date, estimated arrival date, cargo receipt date, and estimated departure date. These fields will be updated by LSP, which is ACS. So if suppliers manually update or select the data on these fields, the errors will be triggered. So they should be left blank on the Plan 2 ship. Okay. Then yellow validation errors. Okay. So when you have the yellow validation errors, that means buyer exceptions are triggered. So the Plan 2 ship will be sent to Crane Barrel to review and approve, such as when the gross volume, the gross weight, and the package count are not aligned with the buyer's requirements, then these error messages will be triggered. Okay, so when suppliers submit the Plan 2 ship, it will be sent to Crane Barrel, and the document status will be buyer review pending. only when Cranberry approves the exceptions, the plan to ship will be inactive. Okay, then sent to LSP. Blue validation errors. They are warning messages. So they will be triggered when the plan to ship has some discrepancies from PO. And with these blue warning messages, plan to ship can be submitted and sent to IOSP ACS directly. Okay, then ACS will discuss offline with Cranberry whether to approve the booking or not. So when the estimated cargo ready date you selected is outside of ship window, and when the item quantity on the booking is less than the PO line ordered, these are the error messages you will see. Right. So after submitting the plan to ship, supplier should always go to the related screen if order to check if the plan to ship and the shipping orders are created, and the shipping order number should be the same as the plan to ship reference number. So if suppliers find that the shipping order is the number of shipping order is not as the same as the plan to ship number, or if the shipping order is not properly generated, and you should reach out to Infinex's support. Okay. So besides to check the documents, suppliers should also check the document status after submitting the plan to ship. So click on applications from the navigation bar, then go to plan to ship and the filter plan to ship documents. Refer the status columns. For the plan to ship in new status, it means it's still pending for suppliers to submit. And these new plan to ship documents, there will be no booking request sent to ACS. Okay. How to cancel a plan to ship document? So once the plan to ship is submitted, and if you'd like to cancel this document, just contact LSP, which is ACS, and to cancel the shipping order. And when the plan to ship becomes rejected, go to the plan to ship preview, then click on cancel, then click OK to confirm, and document status will change from rejected to cancelled. Okay. Then how to reopen for further updates the document? If the changes are needed, contact ACS to decline the shipping order. And when the plan to ship becomes rejected, you can click on reopen from the preview screen and click OK to confirm. Then you will see the document status will change to reopened. So how to view a plan to ship response? Once the LSP has taken actions on the shipping order, they will trigger a plan to ship response file to Infinexes. and all the response files will be visible in the Plan to Ship folder. So click on Applications, then Plan to Ship, and use the filters to filter out the Plan to Ship. Okay. Then click the folder icon of the Plan to Ship, okay, to access the Plan to Ship folder. From the Documents section, all the Plan to Ship response files will be available, and with their version number. Create timestamp shows you the date when the document is generated. And suppliers should always refer the latest Plan to Ship response file for the shipment details provided or updated by ACS via the Plan to Ship response. So these are the shipment details suppliers can review on the Plan to Ship response file. Okay. The response status code, it should be accepted booking confirmed. So the booking is confirmed. Then the appointment date, appointment type, reject reason code, and reject region comments. And this information will only be visible when the Plan to Ship is rejected. Ship mode and shipment load type, the equipment type, and the count. Okay. So impact changes to the packing list after Plan to Ship is implemented on the InfoNexus. So suppliers should create the packing list after shipment scanning. Okay. Then enter the required information on the packing list. The packing list, the reference number, is auto-drafted, which is generated by the system. And once the Plan to Ship is implemented, when the Plan to Ship is linked to the packing list, the packing list reference number will be updated to the Plan to Ship reference number. Okay. And one packing list can have multiple packing plans, POs, and equipment when they have the same LSP, destination, and the shipment mode. And packing lists should be submitted with the actual equipment number. So the equipment number must match the equipment picked up from the port in the physical shipment, or the LSP will decline the shipping order to supplier to update the packing list. For CY shipment, before approving the packing list, an accepted Plan to Ship is required. So suppliers have to wait until the Plan to Ship is accepted before you can approve the packing list. For CFS shipment, an accepted Plan to Ship is also required. For parcel shipment, Plan to Ship is not required in the system, but factory needs to enter the parcel ID in the parcel tracking number field on the packing list. So the line items on the packing list should match with the items on the Plan to Ship. And overshipping is not allowed. and the shipping is allowed. And for the CY shipment, the equipment selected on the packing list should be the same as the one on the plan to ship. Okay. Once the packing list is approved by supplier, and if further changes are needed, supplier needs to contact LSP to unlock the shipping order. Then the packing list can be reopened for further updates. Okay, so from the screenshots, you can see that the packing list reference number generated by system, and once the plan to ship is linked to this packing list, the reference number will be changed to plan to ship reference number. So these two numbers will be the same. And so on the packing list, and just click on the lookup icon from this plan to ship link field. Then the accepted plan to ship will be displayed. If you cannot find any plan to ship after clicking the lookup icon, just go back and check if your plan to ship is created and accepted by LSP. Only accepted plan to ship will be displayed. Okay. So the process comparison of phase 1 and phase 2. The changes once we move on to phase 2. For packing plan, in phase 1, it can have one or multiple POs. But when we move on to phase 2 with the plan to ship implemented, one packing plan can only have one PO. So if the shipment has multiple POs, just create a packing plan per PO. Shipment scanning for CFS shipment, and the equipment number should be CFS year, month, and date. And we move on to phase 2. The license plate number of the vehicle we transfer the goods to the warehouse should be used as the equipment number for CFS shipment. Okay, so that's the change. Then packing list. So in phase 2, the accepted plan to ship must be linked to the packing list. Then packing list for CY shipment. In phase 1, supplier can reopen the packing list and get the equipment number updated. And in phase 2, the packing list should only be submitted with the actual equipment number. And this number must match the one that picked up from the port. Otherwise, the LSP will decline the shipping order and request the packing list to be updated. Okay. The plan to ship process support. So once this new feature is go live in the system, and when suppliers having issues, these are the contact party. For purchase order data related, contact Cranberry Liaison Office. Or if your issues is the user ID related, plan to ship functionality related, or factory management functionality related, contact InfoNexus customer support. for revising or canceling the submitted plan to ship, reopening the packing list, the plan to ship, if the plan to ship is still pending for LSP to accept or reject, contact the LSP origin office. So here is the InfoNexus customer support contact number and service email. So you can reach out to our regional office based on your region. And China Service Hub operating hour starts from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening, from Monday to Saturday. Okay. The supplier training menus have already been updated, so suppliers can go to the home page, community shared attachment, to download the latest supplier training menus, which has the plan to ship feature included. You can also access the documentation central for the supporting materials to further study the system. And InfoNexus Training Center, suppliers can do the self-learning via the training center. And if you don't have an ID, you can request with InfoNexus, then log in to complete the online courses. Okay. So this is all from me about the plan to ship documents in the InfoNexus system. Before I pass the time to ACS presenter, I'd like to see if we have any questions for the contents we've just covered.
DFS shipment process, and we also